This morning we are talking about the year to come on the Supreme Court. No doubt, and a very big year ahead, not only politically in this country, but also legally with actions by the Supreme Court, and increasing concerns about the politicization of the High Court in this country. Stuart Harris is a professor of law at the Duncan School of Law at Lincoln Memorial University. He's the host of your weekly constitutional local radio show, actually a global radio show heard on public radio. Welcome.
We are global.
Global.
We are global in our reach, Josh. Happy New Year.
You too, and good to have you here.
Always.
By most estimates, this will be an important session to come for the Supreme Court of this land. Let's start there. Why?
Well, one word: abortion. Abortion has been increasingly a target of more conservative elements in the country. The Trump administration has been very diligently installing a lot of very conservative justices and judges throughout the federal judiciary. And so now opponents of abortion see their chance. And indeed, I note that 200 Republican members of Congress recently signed what's called an amicus brief, a friend of the court brief, in a case out of, I think, Arkansas, saying that they want Roe versus Wade overturned. And there's a real possibility that that may happen this year.
Justices are appointees of presidents. They are appointees for life. And
Right.
It seems logical that eventually we come to the point we are right now where there's growing concern about the political influence on what's supposed to be an apolitical branch of government. And some are saying it's time to save the Supreme Court, and that leads us to this week's guest for your show. Tell me about that guest and the rather radical suggestion this guest is making.
Ganesh Sitaraman is a professor at Vanderbilt. He's a very, very bright fellow, and he wants to combat the perception that the Supreme Court is political by doing several things. Probably the most notable proposal he has is to deputize every single member of the federal courts of appeals, that's the level below the Supreme Court, and put them on the Supreme Court. So instead of having 9 justices, you'd have 50 or more. And these would come in on a rotating basis and hear cases for a week out of a given month. And so you'd never know beforehand which people would be actually hearing a particular case. And Ganesh thinks that this would make the court more stable, that any individual panel would be much less likely to reverse earlier decisions and would proceed more incrementally and impartially. He's got his arguments, but I don't think there's much chance that's going to be adopted.
Probably not. Now, these appeals court justices are all political appointees, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So we're not escaping that.
We're not escaping it, but what we're doing is we're spreading it out over many more people, and we're also making it unpredictable to litigants which justices they'll be arguing to. These days, if you go to the Supreme Court, you basically are writing your briefs and directing your arguments to the 1 or 2 justices who are the swing justices.
And you know who they are because you know where they are politically.
Exactly.
Based on who. Though that doesn't always hold true, does it?
It doesn't always work.
We have the Chief Justice right now who seems to be saying, I'm a centrist even though I was appointed by a Republican.
Right. He's very concerned, Chief Justice Roberts, about the reputation of the court. Because remember, courts don't have armies to enforce things. They depend upon public perceptions of their legitimacy to do their jobs. And Chief Justice Roberts wants to make sure that people respect the court.
Fascinating topic at a fascinating time as we start a new year. It is something you can learn more about as you tune in Sunday at 3, Tuesday at 8 for your weekly constitutional. Stuart's the host. It's on 89.5 WETS. Stuart, thanks.
Thank you, Josh.